congratulations to the Knicks. Congratulations to a fantastic year. And thank you to Leon Rose for actually being competent and knowing what he's doing. Because ever since Leon Rose was brought to this team, there were a lot of yay or naysayers. Because nobody thought because he has been an agent all these years that he was going to know what to do when becoming a president and GM of an organization. He brings in Worldwide Wes and a bunch of very good executives that have been a part of organizations, successful organizations in the last couple of years, and it's worked. Not pulling the trigger for Donovan Mitchell in the offseason. Was it the right decision? Who knows? What we do know is Jalen Brunson was absolutely the right decision for the New York Knicks. For anybody today, all the analysts, all the people that told us we were crazy. And now you have guys like Legler, a basketball analyst for ESPN, going out there and saying that he wants to apologize to Jalen Brunson, believing that this kid was going to be as good. He looked pretty good as a 16, 17-point guy last year in Dallas and helping them make their run all the way to the Western Conference Finals. And then this year, getting the $100 million contract from the Knicks when everybody said he was overpaid, and then putting up the numbers, averaging almost 24 points a game, giving the Knicks almost 8 assists a game and about 4 to 5 rebounds a game. This guy has been as good as what everybody believed he wasn't going to be.
Especially from a scoring perspective, too. He essentially went up about 7 points from his career total, his career high last year with the Dallas Mavericks, so the first year he got to play a lot of that full time, and 24 points up from about that 16, 17-point range that he had in those previous 2 years. This is a big, big leap from a scoring perspective. 6.2 assists per game, and this is a big one, 3 assists to turnover ratio. That means he is not turning the ball over, and the Knicks as a team really have not turned the ball over because of how efficient he's been, dribbling the basketball, spacing the floor, and making a lot smarter passes and a lot smarter shots.
We have guys like Quigley who could be up for a 6th man of the year. And Emmanuel Quigley, everybody out there was mocking the Knicks when they had that draft for Obi Toppin and Quigley. They moved up in the draft and they got Emmanuel Quigley, and everybody was like, this guy was a 2nd-round pick, maybe a late 2nd-round pick. And Emmanuel Quigley right now, when you look at that draft, was one of the top 3 draft picks in that draft class. He has been unbelievable. This is his 3rd year. He's averaging 14 points off the bench. This is a guy that if you put him out there and he plays a significant amount of minutes, everybody said his size at his position was not going to fit in the NBA. Right. Shame on everybody that said that, because he's a pretty good defender. He could shoot the 3 anywhere around the court. He can get to the hole at will, and he's a good team leader. I think what you've seen with some of these young players like Obi Toppin and Grimes, guys that are going to be a part of this rotation now moving forward, going into the playoffs. And everybody said when you've seen Tom Thibodeau in the playoffs, he only plays 8 guys. I believe he's going to play 10 guys in the first round. That tells me the difference of the way Tom Thibodeau is coaching this team since he's really started as a coach in the NBA. He has now decided to play more players and use the young players in his offense. And now that you've seen that this year, this is a completely different New York Knicks team.
Yes, I'm one of them that'll take the L on Quigley. I did not like the draft pick at the time. I thought he was just going to be a shooter off the bench. He's a good 3-point shooter, free throw shooter, but I never thought he would develop into this complete player that he's become. He's essentially become the backup point guard. We've barely seen Derrick Rose play this year, and he's been a much better defensive player, averaging a steal per game, much better rebounder, just better raw overall perimeter defender, and he's taking smarter shots too. He's not as streaky, he's not as cold as he was in certain other years. Quentin Grimes finally getting the playing time, and he's showing why he could be one of the better 3-and-D guys in the league for a young player too. Another guy with a very good assist to turnover ratio too. And Obi Toppin, he's not going to wow you statistically. He's not a massive scorer, yet, but he's a smart guy. He's a glue guy on this bench unit. He's a very well-rounded player, great basketball IQ, good vision on the court when it comes to passing. He's a little undersized, so his raw defense hasn't been great, but it's still very good for somebody his size playing the 4 a lot of the time too. And again, he should get more playing time down the road if the Knicks decide to part ways with Julius Randle to try to trade him in the offseason.
5 bench in the NBA right now. And if they're getting that kind of offense off the bench, moving forward, going into the playoffs, most of these teams are top heavy. They don't have benches. Denver is a team that has a good bench. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they're a good bench, not a great bench. Right. So you look at Cleveland and the way the Knicks are matched up against them, the Knicks have the advantage in a lot of different ways. Now, I believe Cleveland is a good offensive team. They have a prolific offensive player like a guy like Donovan Mitchell, but I believe that the Knicks have the other 2 stars in this series, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. Garland's a player. He's a good player. Is he a superstar? He's not. So the Knicks have the advantage when it comes to star power, and I think the Knicks have the better bench.